Our universe will never be the same.
Mia?
Oh, you gotta see this.
Epic Universe, only at Universal Orlando Resort.
Hello everyone, and welcome in. Today, we're going to be answering a question that has been around ever since Universal Orlando opened up this little $7 billion theme park down the road. Nothing major. It's not like it was a lot of money or anything, or that's a big deal. But the question now is, what is the best Universal Orlando theme park? They have 3 of them, and personally, I believe it's between 2. Now let me explain. Universal Studios Florida was the original park at the resort in Orlando, but Islands of Adventure opened in '99, and ever since then, it seems that Universal has kind of made that their priority, and Islands of Adventure got way ahead of Studios very quickly after Hagrid's and VelociCoaster. Then they open up Epic, which completely blasts it out of the water. Like, Studios cannot compete with Epic at all. It's way, way behind. So now Studios is way behind, and yeah, they're trying to catch it up. They're building Fast and Furious. Studios has a chance to come back and be a great park. They just have to invest in it. But it's not really a competition, or it's not going to be much of a competition against the other 2. Now, with that being said, Studios is not a bad park by any means. It's still enjoyable, and they still have good rides there. It's just not quite on the level as the other 2, which is kind of why it's not really going to be talked about much today. So, with that being said, the 2 parks that I'm referring to that are competing with each other for Best Park at Universal Orlando are, of course, Islands of Adventure, which is right next to Universal Studios Florida, and then down the highway, Universal Epic Universe. So, how I want to do this is we'll kind of put similar areas against each other between the 2 parks, and whichever park I feel like has the better side or attraction or land, or just whichever one I feel like is better in that area is going to get a point. And eventually, by the end, we'll have a total, and one park will win, and the other will lose. So to start, we're going to go with each park's best land. Now, the best land in Islands of Adventure is probably Hogsmeade, right? Harry Potter, it looks great. It was the first one. Fantastic land. It's got some of the best rides in the park there with Hagrid's and Forbidden Journey. And in my opinion, the best land in Epic Universe is going to be How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. It's got Hiccups. It's got the Untitled Dragon Show. It's got Dragon Racers Rally, right? It's just the most complete land in my opinion. There could be an argument made for like Dark Universe or Super Nintendo World, but to me personally, How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk is the best land at Epic Universe. Now, if I was just going solely based off rides, Hogsmeade would win, because Hogsmeade has a better ride. It's got Hagrid's, Forbidden Journey, and Flight of the Hippogriff. But the way that Isle of Berk looks is beyond Hogsmeade. Like, Hogsmeade looks great, right? It's taken straight out of the Wizarding World. Looks fantastic. But then you look at Berk, and it's literally Berk. Like, there's no flaws. There's nothing about it that doesn't scream, this is Berk. So, I think I'm going to give the point to Epic Universe. I do think I like the Isle of Berk a little bit more than Hogsmeade. The rides are better in Hogsmeade, but the overall land, I feel like Isle of Berk just edges out Hogsmeade a little bit. It might be because it's new. I really can't say, because it's new, so we have to wait for it to age a little bit. But for me right now, I would say Isle of Berk is the best land at the Universal Orlando Resort. So now that I've just compared the 2 best lands at the 2 parks, let's compare the 2 worst lands at the 2 parks. So the worst land at Island Adventure, very easily, is Toon Lagoon. That needs to be thrown in the garbage, taken away. It would have been Lost Continent, but Lost Continent isn't actually there anymore. It's kind of been demolished, and it's just like some construction walls, mythos, and so I don't really think I can use that because it's not really the Lost Continent anymore. It's just a place to walk through since it's being renovated. So yeah, worst land at Islands Adventure is Toon Lagoon. And then you look at Epic, and it's like, is there even a bad land here? The answer is no. There's not a bad land at Epic. But the worst land, to me, it's hard because all the lands there are actually like incredible. I don't think there's a bad land at Epic. Like, I go into each land and I could spend hours in there. But the worst one would probably have to be Celestial Park. Now, I understand a lot of you are going to hate me for that. Like, I can already hear the comments screaming, "What is this guy saying? He's an idiot." But think about it. There's not anything else I can say. Like, if you think about all the lands at Epic Universe, there is nothing, not one, that I can say is bad. So I'm saying Celestial Park just because it is kind of a main hub area and it's not very, I guess, easy to tell what the theme is. Like, if you don't know the backstory of Celestial Park, it just looks like a bunch of trees, and it looks great. Like, it looks great. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if you don't know what it's supposed to be, it can be like, oh, this is just somewhere I walk through, instead of looking in awe at all the scenery pieces and the buildings and whatnot, like you do in the other lands. So now I'm putting Toon Lagoon against Celestial Park. Like, is that even a competition? Celestial Park wins. Celestial Park is amazing. Like I said, no land at Epic is bad. And it wipes the floor with Toon Lagoon. Toon Lagoon's the mop, Celestial Park's the human, just wiping the floor over and over again. So, Epic gets that point. And now Epic has the lead with 2 points, and it's kind of like, is Island's Adventure going to get anything? Well, we'll see. We'll have to talk about it. But next, I'm going to compare standout attraction, more specifically standout roller coaster. So obviously, Islands of Adventure, their standout roller coaster is going to be a VelociCoaster. You could make an argument for Hagrid's, but I would argue more that VelociCoaster is the icon there. And then at Epic, you have Stardust Racers. Not an argument there. That is the standout roller coaster, just because the others are either small or just they're not as iconic or as well known as Stardust Racers is. And personally, for me, I like VelociCoaster better. If you saw my Universal Roller Coasters ranked video, you know why. If you haven't seen that, then I recommend go checking it out. I give way more detail on why I chose VelociCoaster, but I'll give a quick little breakdown. I think that VelociCoaster's theming combined with how good the layout is just makes it better than Stardust. Stardust has a great layout, don't get me wrong. It's fantastic. The dueling element is awesome, but it doesn't have the theming VelociCoaster does. It's kind of an empty queue, honestly, really boring. The main thing you're looking at is the roller coaster, which is really cool, but you're mainly just looking at the top hat after the first launch, which can get boring after, 10 minutes of watching trains go by. And it's not like you're waiting in this queue for a long time. The line for Stardust moves really fast with the 2 sides, but it is more boring than VelociCoaster's queue. And overall, I think VelociCoaster is just the better roller coaster. So Islands of Adventure gets the point. So now let's compare the worst roller coasters at the 2 parks. At Islands of Adventure, it's going to be Flight of the Hippogriff. That's a kids coaster. Not a bad ride, obviously, but it's just not a thrilling attraction or something that I'm going to enjoy as much as something like VelociCoaster or Hagrid's, of course. And the worst roller coaster at Epic is going to be Donkey Kong. Since it always has a long line, it's a little janky, and frankly, I wasn't that impressed with it. It's a cool idea and a cool ride system, but I didn't think it was that great. However, it is going to beat Flight of Hippogriff in the worst coaster battle. So Epic Universe does get another point. They're now 3-1 on Islands of Adventure. And Islands of Adventure's got to pick things up, else they're going to get left in the dust. So next, I'm going to give a shout out to my foodies and my drink people out there. Islands Adventure has the better food and drink options, in my opinion. So I'm going to give a point to Islands for having butterbeer and those potato pizza thingy in Seuss Landing at that Greetings and Ham Shack. They have this hash brown pizza delicious thing. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like hash browns, and they put sausage and cheese and pizza sauce on top of it, and it was fantastic. Now moving on, we're going to go into what's the best dark ride between the 2 parks. So the best dark ride at Islands of Adventure is The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. By far, best dark ride there. The best one at Epic is Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. That was a great ride. I mean, the thing always has a 3-hour liner and whatever, but it's so good. I was laughing the whole time. I didn't understand half of what was happening, but I thought it was hilarious and really enjoyed it. And now, to pick between the 2, I'm going to have to go with Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, just because Spider-Man's a cool ride, but I did not laugh on Spider-Man like I did on Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. I don't know what it was about that ride, but the way that elevator cart thing bounced and moved you around as you were watching these spells fly everywhere, and there's all these effects and animatronics, it was just better, in my opinion. Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is fantastic, but Without the ministry, just beat it. The tiniest little bit. Like, it was not much. Like, it was a super close competition, but I did have to give the edge to Battle of the Ministry. And that is going to be the last thing we compare. So, in conclusion, Epic Universe is the best park at Universal Orlando Resort. Islands Adventure is great. Studios is good. Epic beats both of them. All three parks are fantastic, obviously. Like, it wouldn't be so popular if they weren't. But Epic Universe does have an edge over the other two. And, I love to see how Universal is going to try and catch the other two up to it. I know Epic's got some expansion plans coming soon. So that'll be interesting to see what they do there in terms of how do we make this park better without getting so far ahead that nobody wants to go to the other two. And you know what? Just because I can, I'm going to give another point to Islands of Adventure because it has more rides than Epic. Epic only has 11 rides, and that is simply not enough for a huge theme park like that. They need more rides. So I'm going to give a point to Islands. Epic still wins, obviously, but Islands gets a point because they have plenty of rides. Nobody's going to be like, there's nothing to ride in front of it all. So, Islands gets a point there. But that's going to do it. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree with what I said, let me know if you don't. I want to know why. Don't just say, you're an idiot. Give me a reason why you think I'm wrong. I don't want to hear it. I tried to keep this video a little shorter. I probably could have made a 30-minute video on this, but I tried to keep it a little shorter for you guys. Always remember to use Eagle Wings Travels for your travel agent needs. And remember, Jesus loves you guys. He's going to come back soon, and I don't want to see any of you go where you shouldn't. Take care of yourselves and keep riding roller coasters. I'll catch you next time.